Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Zvonko National Marketing Director. It is really my privilege tonight to introduce our guest speaker for our monthly JP Tribe NMD interview. And tonight is none other than Mr. Jeff Roberti. I'm sure that everybody on the call knows who Jeff Roberti is, because he is the #1 income earner with our company, but not only with our company, but in the industry, and the legend in the industry. And I just want to thank Jeff really for finding a time to share a few ideas with us and maybe a little bit of his wisdom as well, especially for the new people that are just starting, as well as somebody who has been in business for a little while, and we always need to kind of remind ourselves of a few basic things. So I was going to ask Jeff a few questions. We are about 90 days before the conference. We just started the new year. You know, everybody had the New Year's resolutions. Maybe some people already have forgotten them. So maybe my first question really was, Jeff, everybody's talking about taking a lot of action, massive action, but I think there is a way how you go about doing that action or massive action, and what state you want to put yourself in to be more effective. So maybe from your experience, can you share a little bit on that? First of all, what kind of state that we need to put in, and that we can function from that state.
Yeah, very, very good question, Zvonko, and I appreciate you guys having me on the call. And hello, everyone out there in the Juice Plus family. It's Jeff Roberti, and I'm just so excited to be on the call and just in such a great place, guys. Just feeling great, just loving life. When you talk about state, the state you're in, and how you show up, you've got to inspire you before you can inspire other people. And maybe a good question to ask yourself in the business, if you're already in our business and building our virtual franchise and a network marketing professional, a good question to ask yourself is, would you follow you? Would you follow you? Are you the type of person that you would follow? Your DMO, your daily method of operation, your work ethic, your attitude, your consistency of effort, and the pain, the paying activities. Are you the type of person that you would follow? And I have found in our business and our profession, it's easier to lead than it is to push people. Distributors don't do what you tell them to do, they do what you do. So first thing you got to do is show up in a peak resourceful state, where, success breeds success. And there's two things that I've always done in my career. If I was going to give you 2 tips, success principles over the 30 plus years that I've built my business, and the billions of dollars in sales and the millions of dollars in commissions and bonuses and the residual income and opening up and living in over 20 countries around the world, something that I've always showed up in is, because I understand the business is 20% mechanics, 80% mindset, the psychology. How you show up. It's not what you say, it's how you feel about what you say, right? People communicate more with feelings than they do words. But here's the first thing, and this is the word called belief. Belief. You've got to believe in the product, you've got to believe in the company, you got to believe in the opportunity, but you got to believe in yourself. And you've got to show up with what I'd call absolute certainty. Absolute certainty means you come from a position of strength. You've got that voice of authority. You've got that confidence. You're bulletproof. People are like, wow, I want to be around this guy. The second thing, though, is you've got to show up with a servant's heart. It's got to be a shift from the head to the heart. You've got to show up, and you've heard the saying, people don't care how much you know until what? They know how much you care. It's never about you. It's always about the person in front of you. So you show up to a relationship to give, not to get. You're not measuring what you're getting in return. Listen, guys, what you get in life lasts a while. What you give lasts a lifetime. So that's a couple things as far as state, Z, is how you show up. Do you show up in a peak resourceful state? The mechanics is 20%. The psychology and the mindset is 80%.
Well, I agree with that 100%, Jeff. So now that we have that we have aligned our energies, that we put ourselves in the state, in a proper state, in the resourceful, inspiring, and inspired state. Can you maybe talk a little bit about the action and daily method of operation, and really maybe create some kind of relationship to numbers, so everybody understands that, you know, this is not about talking to few people and then everything is going to happen, and maybe just share from your experience how many people you have spoken to, and your relationship to getting no's, and you know, how do you deal with that? Because I think these are really the things that that stop some people, right? Or at least they diverts their kind of journey for a while.
Yeah. No, very good question. And, you know, the DMO, the daily method of operation. Well, let's talk about that. The first question you got to ask yourself is, what is your job description? What is your job? What do you get paid for? What is your job description? The company has their job. They ship, they pay, they collect, they account, they do all of that. What do we get paid for? What is our job description? We get paid for telling the story. You're a paid storyteller. And if you talk to some people, you can make some money. If you talk to lots of people, you can get rich. There's this thing called safety in numbers, the law of averages. But I understand that my job description and what I get paid for is telling the story. Excuse me. What I get paid for is getting customers, building a growing customer base, building team, you know, retailing to recruit, building a team, building relationships, building for events, learning to master these major impending events like big conferences, leadership retreats that we have, our World Juice Plus Live conferences. So, you know, what you get paid for and what your job description is you want to stay focused on the paying activities, which was what I shared. I'll never forget, years ago, I had the privilege of spending some time with the late, great Jim Rohn. A lot of you guys have heard of Jim Rohn. And Jim told me, he said to me when I was in my early 20s, he said, Jeff, you really have to master just a few simple disciplines. You don't have to do 1,000 things well. You have to do a handful of things 1,000 times over and over again. And I said, what do you mean by that, Jim? He said, well, a few simple disciplines done consistently over and over again equals multiple rewards. I said, well, could you give me an example? He said, well, if you take your product one day and miss it the next 6 days, are you going to get the results? No, you won't. If you go to the gym one day and work out and miss the next 6 days, will you get the results? No, you won't. And I said, I get it. So if I do a few simple disciplines, a handful of things, the basics, the fundamentals, and I do it consistently over and over again, it's going to equal multiple rewards. He said, yes, it will. And I said, I get it. So that's the key on the DMO. Now, I'll share one other thing with you guys. It's called 80, 15, and 5. Now, what does that mean, 80, 15, and 5? 80% of the people you bring into this business are going to do it sometime, part-time, or no time. Understand that. That's just the way it is. They're going to hang around the flagpole. They may eat the product. They may do a little bit here and there. But that's just how it is. 80% of the people. You know, and you love them and appreciate them for where they're at. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of people doing a little in your business. Everyone counts. You keep dripping on them. You keep them updated on what's going on. And you never know when things change in their life or the timing's better. They come out to a conference or they hear a call like this or whatever it is. They hear it differently. They see it differently. They feel it differently. They're in a different place. And then maybe they move into the 15%. What's the 15%, Jeff? That's somebody that engages at a level. Maybe they go to virtual franchise, or maybe they go to sales coordinator, and they play at a little higher level than the 80%ers. But the reality is only 5% or less actually step up and treat this like a business, not like a hobby, not like, oh, it only costs $50 to fill out my application and have my own virtual franchise. No, they treat it like it maybe costs $500,000 to have your own virtual franchise. They get after it. They don't take it for granted. And those are the ones you chase their business from here to China with. So the DMO, that daily method of operation, that consistency of work habits and attitude and just staying consistent and understanding your job description and the paying activities is the key, is that consistency.
I agree. 80 plus 15 plus 5%, which is again 100%, right? That's that's so correct. But this is very interesting thing, Jeff. You said you know, in North America we pay $50 for virtual franchise, right? And when you look back, you know, could you in the beginning could you believe that with the $50 that you bought this franchise for, that you have accomplished this, and maybe people that they go to buy a regular franchise, they will have to pay maybe, I don't know, a few $1 million just to buy just to get into the position to start running that franchise.
I know.
I think sometimes we just kind of take this for granted, don't we?
We do. We really do. And that's the key, is you can't take it for granted. You know, you've got to seize the moment and understand that, you know, this is once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, you got a godsend company here, and a product and an opportunity and a mission that is timeless, not good timing, but timeless, what we have here with Juice Plus. And for those of you that embrace that and understand that the awareness today is stronger than ever, and people today are going faster than ever. I believe, Z, the best years are ahead of us, not behind us, you know, in the next coming years. Excuse me.
Okay, that's true. You see, bless you. So you were talking a little bit, being clear what business we are in, what we do get paid for, what are the high paying activities, and one of them is definitely promoting the events, because that's where we show our culture, and that's ultimately why people join us, because of our culture. So we have a conference coming up in North America in Phoenix, the end of April, which is about 90 days from now, we can say, because it's the end of the April. So can you maybe share what are your strategies ahead of the conferences, and how do you treat conferences, and what kind of relationship do you have towards the conference? Is it like you bought a business for $50 or $500,000?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. And, you know, we have our two big conferences in North America twice a year. We have one in the spring out on the West Coast, and then we have one in the fall on the other side of the United States. And then Europe has multiple conferences, and Australia has their conferences. But, you know, when we have our leadership conference or our Juice Plus Live event, and there's thousands of people that come in from all over the world, all the top doctors, all the top corporate, all the top earners, everyone comes in for that conference. It's like, you know, here in the United States, we have, in football, we have what's called the Super Bowl coming up on February the 4th, you know, and over in Europe, it might be called the World Cup, right? You know, for soccer. I mean, it's the Super Bowl, it's the World Cup, it's the best we have to offer. It's the big picture. It's where somebody comes in and walks in that room, and that they see all the relationships, all the love and connection, all the growth people are going through. It's not the money, it's who they become, all the contribution. I mean, it's so rich in relationships and love and connection and growth and contribution, that someone walks in there from the business world and didn't even know this existed, number one. So here's what I'm going to say about conference. You do your DMO every day, sharing the product, sharing the opportunity, building relationships, building from one event to the next. But when you have conference, you learn to master, let me say this word again, master these impending events. You do not take them for granted. Here's the word, non-negotiable paying activity. It's non-negotiable. If you want to be a top producer in this company, all the top producers are there. All the up and coming top producers in our company are there. It is the one that you do not take for granted. And you build for that event, you count down for that event. And my best people I've brought into the business are people that I've gotten to conference. And sometimes I recruited them, got them to the conference the week of conference, because I put such an emphasis on it, such an excitement to be at that convention. And when they see it, they're so blown away. They're so moved emotionally. It's such an experience that they're flying so high, they don't even need the plane to get home after coming to one of our Juice Plus Live events, to one of our big leadership conferences. So the conferences are a must. I have built my business by showing people that big picture. Hey, come on, guys. The highlight of the conference is the new people that have reached our top position, marketing directors that come across the stage and share the story. It's not the money, it's not the position, it's who they've become. And you hear these stories of how they've had to grow and some of the adversities and things they've had to overcome. And then you see all the hugs and kisses and flowers and pictures of all their team afterwards. I mean, I tell people, if that doesn't light your fire, your wood's wet. You need to check yourself, because it moves you emotionally when you hear that. You know, you hear those stories and you want to become part of it. You want to become part of our company and part of our mission.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks a lot, Jeff. That was kind of a great cover on the importance of the conference. I know I don't miss a conference because I believe that what you said, this is the job description. I think really sometimes I think we make more money than what we you know put in, and sometimes, you know, we have to pinch ourselves, right? And these conferences are really to me, they are really cultural events, not just where you learn the business, but you really learn more who are we as a culture, you know, what is our culture of the company, because you can give a Juice Plus as a product to some other company and they're going to butcher it because they will probably unfold it in different culture. And I think this is really why I have been with the company 20 plus years. I'm sure that that's one of the main reasons why you have been with the company for so many years as well. And this is why we are going to stay with the company, because, you know, we understand the mission and the philosophy and the way how they run the business. I know as we speak, there is a big a world sales meeting, a world sales managers in Basel, Switzerland, where they are developing strategies for the next 10 years. So with this, I would like to really thank you, Jeff, for taking your time. We kept this call quite short, 15 minutes, but we basically covered the three things. The first one was put yourself in a state, inspire yourself first before you are going to inspire somebody else. The second thing, once you have put yourself in that state, then action is going to be much easier, because you are going to start attracting different people, because you are going to become attractive because of your state. And the third thing is, you know, do everything with this idea to invite people, first of all, to be at the conference, right? And then to invite people to the conference. So with that, I would like to thank you again. And we are going to see you at the Juice Plus Live in Phoenix at the end of April.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And thank you, Zvonko, for your leadership out there and consistently showing up and the level you show up at, and the level you play at, and the leadership that you provide to so many people out there in our Juice Plus family. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.